This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to support the Boss Rush Network and our family of podcasts, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Hey, what's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon.
Always pretty in pink. I love it.
Thank you.
Yep.
How's you know what? Here's a turn. Let me ask, how are you guys doing?
You don't want to know.
Rory wants to cry himself to sleep.
I do. I'm exhausted. I'm really tired. Like, saying really tired is an overstatement. Like,
No, I understand
if I wasn't missing next week, I maybe would have asked to not be on the show tonight.
You know what? You know what? If you want to, I will take over the show tonight. If you want to bow out.
Nope. I'm already here.
What?
I'm already sitting here.
I mean, just because you're already here doesn't
It takes more effort to get up.
Look, you don't.
Also
you don't have to go home, but you can just leave.
Also, here's the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Howdy, folks.
Howdy.
I'm tired, but I don't think I'm as tired as you.
That's fine. I'm not really tired. I'm tired, but not that tired. Sort of tired. I don't know how tired I am. Speaking of tired, also here's PK Power Pat Klein.
What makes you think I'm tired?
I don't know.
Because I'm always tired.
Life.
Corey, the question is
Yeah.
Is it just everyday exhaustion, like adulting exhaustion, or
No.
is it you just basically run out of time to do everything and you're kind of like burning the wick at both ends?
Yeah,
burning candle at both ends.
It's that. We had to delay the Bossies by 2 days because I wasn't going to get it done. And I still almost didn't get it done in time. I was working on it today, up to 3 hours before it posted. I was working on it.
Mhm.
So,
Well, wonderful job, man. Wonderful job. Hopefully what the three of us, Pat, Stephanie, and myself were able to helped you out immensely. Hopefully.
Mm.
I did nothing to contribute.
Writing the article helped, and the hardest, well, not the hardest part, but one of the hardest parts was trying to make it look like Ed was with us when we recorded all that. That was really difficult. A lot of clip splicing. So,
Well, props to you, boss man, for an amazing job with the first annual. And there's a lot of lessons learned that will carry on to next year that hopefully you won't be as burned out. Please don't burn out.
yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was going to take this long. I thought I could do it in maybe 2 nights, get it all done, wrap it up, get it all clean. But it actually took me about, let's see, I don't know. I don't want to tell you how long I've spent on this. So it's okay.
But it's done. It's done.
It is done.
You have it on your resume.
Yeah. And so each segment is clipped out. I'm also going to try to send segments to publishers to try to at least garner some attention at some point. So every single segment is clipped out, or every single category is clipped out, and every segment is clipped out, and then the full thing, and then the end stuff, which you guys haven't seen yet. So
good shit.
Yeah. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about us. Speaking of us, I should probably open the doc and read this stuff. I lost the doc. Hold on. Nope, found it. All right. Boss Rush is headed to PAX East. The Boss Rush Podcast and the Boss Rush Network are headed to PAX East, and you will be able to find us roaming the floor. So if you see us, you can come say hi. We'll be covering the event as part of the media, demoing games, conducting interviews, recording podcasts, all that kind of stuff out there. Keep an eye on bossrush.net and our social media to find cool stuff, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. PAX East is March 21st to the 24th, so get your badges and come say hi. It'll be a good time. I'm really the before I move on, one of the most exciting things to me about PAX is that like the 6 people I consider the leadership team, we're all going to be there theoretically if LeRon gets his act together.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, LeRon.
Yep.
Chop. And like, I just the thought of just having like a team, like a leadership team picture, and like everybody else that's going there is like one big photo op would be. It's, I don't know. I get really excited thinking about that. It's more exciting than actually like playing the games to me. So
Corey gets all tingly just thinking about us all together.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
exciting.
am too.
It's exciting.
You probably don't have the same type of tingly that Corey's having, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe not.
Speaking of tingling, if you have a little tingle, if you want to support the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get the show 1 week early and ad free, and other perks like early access to other podcast voting rights and more at the tier that's right for you. Again, that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. If you can't contribute financially, no big deal. Your viewership and listenership is enough for us. If you're watching the video, subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a nice rating and a review. It really helps us out. Hit the bell, like the video, check out our store. There's over 40 designs up with more to come. I'm thinking about making a Boss Rush at PAX shirts that maybe we could all wear. So we'll see about that. Also head to our website for all of our content, including a breakdown of our Bossies Awards with a great article from Stephanie with the videos embedded at bossrush.net. Lastly, we're giving away Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the PlayStation 5. To enter, subscribe to the Boss Rush Network on YouTube and comment Sephiroth on this video. This video.
This video. Okay.
This
okay.
video.
I see what you did. I see what you did there because
I'm changing it up.
You about threw me for a loop just now.
I'm changing it up. I'm seeing if people are paying attention.
Sephiroth.
Seeing if people are paying attention. If you're a patron, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you automatically receive 2 entries if you comment Sephiroth on the pinned post on Patreon. If you're a patron, you know where it's at. You can go there. The winner will be announced via Boss Rush Network Twitter and Instagram accounts on Monday, February 26th. So follow us at Boss Rush Network to find out who wins on the socials, as they say. So yeah, with that out of the way, I'm really excited for PAX East. I don't think you guys understand how excited I am about PAX East.
Don't forget to quarantine yourself 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not going to get sick this time.
As he says, as he coughs.
I know. I see I'm getting sick now, so I don't get sick then.
There you go.
No, I'm not. My kids have coughs, so I probably caught something. It's all good, though. It's good. It's good. It's all good. Speaking of good, who's playing games?
We are.
Yeah.
I'm going to go first since mine's kind of short and sweet. I finished Super Mario RPG since the last time we recorded. Man, I feel like Friday was 3 weeks ago when we recorded that episode. I enjoyed it. I feel like my enjoyment of the game got stronger as I got through most of the game, and towards the end when I was getting really into it, it ended, and then I was like, oh well, that's over. My enjoyment is over. So but it was fun. I doubt I will ever
You made it sound like your joy just died.
It did.
It died because you finished the game.
It
Don't
died
you
when
get
I
that-
deleted it off my console.
Sometimes when you finish a game, you get this feeling inside you that nothing will be able to replace it.
It's not the feeling of joy that I was enjoying the game so much that I'm like, now I'm depressed and alone. It's the sadness that like now I have to find the next game to play, and that's always the hard part, but I've been toying around with Prince of Persia. I'm not very far at all, but the demo definitely gives you more powers than you start out with. I'm going to tell you that right now. I try to do that cool, like a lot of the cool things, and I'm like, oh, can't do that yet. Cannot do that yet. But other than that, I mean, literally, seriously, all weekend I was head down on the bossies, trying to make sure it was perfect. I was playing Editor Simulator, so
that was the simulator, not what you were playing.
Yeah, we. My God. Anyways, LeRon, what are you playing?
I am playing Tekken 8 officially. Like it came out last Thursday, and that's been my jam. Okay, so I'm here right now to answer a few questions for people who may have these particular questions. Is Tekken 8 a Tekken game I can get into if it's the first one I've ever played? Yes, it is, because there's a lot of nifty things laid out just for beginners to try it out. If you have any fighting game fundamentals, you'll be all right. But definitely anyone can jump into this game and pick any of the 30. I forgot how many characters it is, because I've only been concentrating on 4 characters myself as I play the game. But yeah. A diverse cast. For people who are wondering, a very diverse cast. A lot of old faces returning, and some new faces that are going to shake things up for the game and stuff like that. Thank God there are no guest fighters, because I absolutely hated all the guest fighters from Tekken 7.
Not yet.
From Akuma all the way down to Negan. Hated them all.
Oh, LeRon, speaking of sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but speaking of guest characters, guess what's coming to Destiny?
What?
Mass Effect. A Mass Effect crossover with Destiny.
I think I heard some about that, actually.
Commander,
I didn't believe it.
So the Titans get Commander Shepard's armor, the N7 armor. The Warlocks get Liara's kind of trench coat thing, and then the Hunters get a whole get up like Garrus.
They're doing their damnedest to try to get me to get into this game.
I mean, they're doing their damnedest to try to get people excited for Destiny again, because their game director just announced he's leaving right before the final shape comes out.
Oh yeah,
Joe Blackburn's been there since, like, he's pretty much the guy, right? Like, since Luke Smith kind of stepped away after Vanilla D2, he kind of is the one that took over and made Destiny popular again. And like, him not being a part of the game is really weird. Like, he's been there since the beginning in some sort of role, but man, it's rough out there. Anyways, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
no. It's all
it.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, and I do appreciate that. I mean, like I still have this like this $80 edition of Destiny 2 that I never dusted off. Like, I never even installed it and stuff like that, because it was like 6 months ago when they had that massive sale. They got you everything up almost up to like the latest expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that one, and right now, like, I'm getting stuff because like I get various I go on the various game code websites to get discounts and stuff for PC purchases and stuff. That's actually how I got the deluxe. I got the premium edition of Tekken, which is $110. I got it for $78.
Nice.
Yeah. And that includes everything, including the first season's pass. But I've been getting apparently if I look in the right place, I can get a Lightfall for like under $30.
Wow.
Yeah.
I sent an image of the armor in the chat, by the way, LeRon, if you want to look at it.
Ooh, let's see the sex.
It looks so good.
Well, when I get my Tekken 8 from QVC tomorrow, I'm gonna brush up on my skills, and I would like to.
Yo, come on.
All right, whatever.
I like this artwork just because. Oh my god.
Also, one of the ships you can buy is the Normandy.
Let me close this. Let me close this tab. Let me close it. So yeah.
So yeah, about to spend $50 on a game he doesn't play just for cosmetics.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't do stuff like that. Not usually. Yeah, but Tekken 8. Like for veteran players, they've put some things in there to keep that'll keep us on our toes and stuff like that. But most Tekken players are readily adaptable to like the changes and stuff like that. So like so yeah, like people are getting in the swing of it. Like and the community has been very open because I've noticed that that there's been conversations about people crossing over from games like Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear, things of that nature and stuff like that. And the community has actually been very inviting and welcoming because because you know how communities can get me out real standoffish sometimes. Like not wanna like let new people in. But yeah. Check it out. It's worth it. Check it out. And there's crossplay, so you can play console to PC, PC to console, whatever you want to do. You can play ROG Ally or Lenovo Legion Go to like whatever what's out there in the wild. Give it a go. And of course, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, because why not? Pat, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Because if I you tell me the best thing here.
Mm-hmm.
If I beat the Tekken 8 campaign mode, can I say I beat the game?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You have to beat it with every character.
No, the campaign mode doesn't go like that. It picks characters for you to play. It's
kind of like Mortal Kombat and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I consider that complete.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't done the campaign mode yet because I've been busy trying to. I picked one brand new character to learn, and since the game launched, I've been playing with that one character. It's Victor, the head of the UN that has like a sword, and he's like a French samurai basically, and he's pretty cool. Like I like him. And so I've been playing with him exclusively before I actually jump back and play with some of my legacy characters like Asuka and Jin Kazama, Lars. So and I'll plan to pick. So my plan is I'm gonna pick up one brand new character that's new to the game, and I'm gonna pick up one character that is a legacy character, but I've never actually tried out and stuff like that. I don't know who that legacy character is gonna be just yet because I get kind of stiff when I'm playing characters, meaning that I might know the notations for their combos and stuff, but for some strange reason, I'm still playing the other characters like movesets and stuff like that. So I'm one of those people like this is why I can't play multiple fighting games at the same time because like I will get movement confused, movement confused, and all that stuff, and just I'm too ADHD for like to play multiple games at the same time.
You know what might help you though? Playing with Steph when she gets the game tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it, Steph.
Yeah, do some cross training.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah,
I would definitely. I would definitely like. I'm not saying I'm like a really good Tekken player, but I can take you under my wing and show you the basics.
Sweet.
Yeah, Tekken is. I used to be a Street Fighter person. But once we got past Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, like Street Fighter kind of like lost it for me. But I've always been Tekken. I've been a Tekken player since Tekken 2. And that's all I'm going to talk about. I've said enough. You can always, if you guys want to play with me online, like my gamer tag is Exodus803, just like my social media tags. That's also my tag on Monster Hunter World Iceborne. If you're playing on the PC, because Capcom didn't want to do crossplay for that game. So there you go.
Stephanie, what about you?
I finished A Space for the Unbound. I believe I texted that. It was very, very good, very touching.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big recommendation. I wrote a review on it that will publish on the Boss Rush website on Sunday, the No alarm bell. Sunday the 4th of February. So, I was trying to figure out what my next backlog game would be, and I was debating between Death's Door, Ghost Trick, or West of Loathing. And I went with West of Loathing. Has anyone heard of that?
I have heard of it. I have looked at it several times. I have never pulled the trigger, so to pun intended.
Oh yeah, and they came out with a sequel, Shadows over Loathing, recently, and it's technically an RPG, but it's in a most basic way, and it's just a ridiculous game, and I think that's why I really love it so much. You literally play as a stick figure in a like a kid drew this environment out, but despite it being like a stick figure environment, like the lighting and the shadows are actually like very complex and highly detailed. It kind of blew my mind. The battle system's fun. Again, it's simple, extremely hilarious. And another part that I really loved about it was that it almost had an Oregon Trail feel, because the way you go between places is you open up a map, and then there's various locations. And if you clicked to ride your horse between point A to point B, you'll see your little hooves, and then like at least one random event will happen between now and the other place. But it's not like old school RPGs that you might hit like 7, 8 enemies if you just step like a micro spec. No, it's just one place to another. You might hit one. It's like a randomized event, like you do get in Oregon Trail. It's like, oh, you look to the side and there's an abandoned cart. Do you go and open it? And then the map doesn't automatically populate, the in the beginning. You have to travel a few times, and then maybe during a random event, it goes, hey, you notice a building structure over there. Looks like it's a ranch. Do you want to change course and go to the ranch now, or mark it on your map and come back later? So I haven't died of dysentery like you would do in Oregon Trail, but I actually, it had that very subtle feel that really tickled that nostalgia bone. But it's really fun for an RPG, because I feel like after Baldur's Gate 3, Super Mario RPG, I've actually had a relative string of RPG playership that I haven't had in a while, and I didn't want to necessarily dig into a super long RPG yet. And this is like a really great one. Like every time I play through a town, I'm like, why didn't I play this sooner? I wish I played this sooner. It is extremely fun, and even though it's basic, it's not super easy either. Some of the battles, I got my butt kicked a lot. So I'm thoroughly enjoying West of Loathing at the moment.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will probably have to check this out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about ready to pick up Dave the Diver, especially after seeing what I saw today.
Dude, Godzilla crossover?
How the hell are they going to do that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But that's funny.
Then again, they do everything in Dave the Diver, so I'm not surprised.
And that looks like the perfect game to have on the ROG Ally.
Mm-hmm. But you can get it on your PlayStation now. Well, not now.
Played on the PlayStation Portal.
I'm barely playing my console. That's the reason why I have not been in a super hurry to like renew my PlayStation Plus. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm basically waiting for the PC version on that one.
One day it'll come out on PC.
One day.
So who's next?
I guess that leaves Pat. Pat's next.
All right. So just to quickly point out that I have finished Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which makes game number 5 of 2024, and I got the Platinum Trophy on it. So Platinum number 81. That game was awesome. I am very impressed with what Ubisoft did with that, and like I figured it was going to be fine as a Metroidvania, but it worked out really well, and I wouldn't mind seeing more, either Prince of Persia in this form, or even them tackling something else. Like I've heard, like they want to tackle like Legend of Zelda and make that into a 2D game or a 2D Metroidvania, which honestly would be very interesting. I could almost see that.
So it was satisfying through the end, because I know, generally speaking, there's like Metroidvanias like everywhere, and with few exceptions, like how Metroid Dread was very well executed. Sometimes it could be hard to start and complete a Metroidvania and keep interest. So did that seem to keep
Yeah.
your interest pretty well?
The story was balanced well. Though there was a question, like one of the immortals in the game just randomly falls off the map. Not like literally, but just like they're there and then you never see or hear from them ever again. And it's like, what happened to this person? And it's like, okay, so I don't know if they're planning on like doing a DLC later on that has this person in it, but I just feel like it feels like maybe it was meant to happen, like to be like something in a place, but they ran out of time and just like axed the character from the story. I don't know. That's probably my only like questionable part about this game, but overall it played very well, very smooth combat, very beautiful terrains, very the trains definitely differed a lot. There were some really cool looking places, like I mentioned to you personally, Steph, the Raging Sea. That hands down is probably one of the coolest 2D Metroidvania levels I've ever seen. But yeah, I recommend it.
I'll have to pick it up because go ahead, finish. Sorry.
No, finish this one because that's the topic.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I'm moving on.
I don't know if it's official yet because a lot of the titles say rumor, but it looks like they're painting, media's painting it out that Prince of Persia: Lost Crown is underperforming by selling only around 300,000 units. And if that's the case, like,
you want to know what's going on. This is the real reason why it's underperforming.
Okay.
Because the Ubisoft game is going to be on a deep discount in less than 2 months.
It'll be on sale. It'll be on sale within 2 weeks. You watch.
Yeah,
this recording 2 weeks.
But I also believe that Ubisoft does this on purpose to actually boost their sales in the long run, because it's easier on a resume to say like, hey, like we worked on this game and across its lifetime it sold 13 million copies, stuff like that, versus a 90-day launch window that a lot of these games have to make their performance numbers, and they only do like 3.2 million.
Yeah. Let's also point out the fact that this game's only been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, like and also people have trust issues with Ubisoft.
That is true.
You never know exactly what you're going to. They have. I can name the top 5 companies that people have trust issues with. Ubisoft is leading the pack. Second to that is Bethesda. People. These companies give people trust issues. Like almost anything from EA Games. EA is digging themselves out of their hole, but a lot of times, like EA, people will wait. Activision Blizzard's having a hard time right now, especially that last Call of Duty release. Stuff like that. And it just WB's in the hornet's nest right now, thanks to Suicide Squad. And you know what? And this is not even talking out of my ass. These are facts, because guess what? I am also a gamer, and I actually play and try to enjoy these games and stuff too.
Right.
But yeah,
I just want Prince of Persia to be successful.
Prince of Persia will be successful. It will be.
I feel like this is a game, right? Like the Metroid, like high profile Metroidvanias, if you want to call them that, are like, they're not going to sell what something like Assassin's Creed does, right? Like this game will never reach 10, 15, 20 million copies. But I feel like just like Rayman Origins and Legends, right? And like something like Child of Light, like LeRon said, this game's going to have a long tail, and it'll sell. This game will sell forever at 15 or 20 bucks on sale. Every time this game is 15 or 20 bucks, somebody's going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And also, this game could not possibly have as big as a budget as something that's, AAA open world, like most of Ubisoft's games. So I think they would be fine if it doesn't reach the multi-millions because it didn't cost them that much to make.
Yeah, I mean, I bet this game only cost them like $25 million to make, maybe 20.
Yeah, I would not go any higher than that.
Yeah,
but
I only say that it was that high because it's Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, they got a pretty big studio.
Yeah, like
credits.
this. I don't feel like this game is being threatened at all. Like this is not like this is not a wash for Ubisoft. Because like this is the same company that bounced back from their Assassin's Creed Unity fiasco.
Mhm.
Or
Okay, so it's
or let's not forget about the Photoshop job they did for what's that game? Adrian Pierce was the main character. Fuck, what's the game?
Watch
Dogs.
Dogs.
You're hacking shit. Yeah, Watch Dogs. You're hacking shit with your cell phone. Yeah, I love that game, by the way.
It wasn't horrible.
It was not horrible. No,
except for the drinking minigame.
Wii U.
Oh,
yeah,
see,
that's
fun.
See, you played yourself.
Mm-hmm. All right. Speaking of playing with yourself, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Pat.
Yeah.
Really, dude? Really?
Yeah.
Dude? Right in front of my podcast? Really?
Yep. Now, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. This game is solid. This game is awesome in so many freaking ways. Like the game, it's almost a slow start, but in a weird way. Like it doesn't start off with like some super big bang. You literally start off as Kasuga just living his ordinary day life, and almost for like the first 2 hours you're trying to get him ready for a date, which he has almost no experience with because he's been in prison for most of his adult life. So it's it's kind of funny just seeing the banter between him and his old friends, and like just all the crazy things that happen about. But the game story has a lot of funny moments and it has a lot of serious moments so far. Though I can only say I've really scratched the surface because I'm only a few chapters in, but I've been exploring like various side quests, like all the Yakuza games tend to have, is a plethora of just activities to do all around the city. And Hawaii is gorgeous. My gosh, it is so beautiful. I constantly find myself just looking at like the shadows and the sunsets and just how pretty this game is. Gosh, there's so much to talk about this game, but I just want to point out like some of the basics right now. I haven't gotten too deep into a lot of the side quests though, or at least the big ones, because this game has every Yakuza game or Like a Dragon game has like a massive like side quest that is also as long as an ordinary game. And in this case, it is one that's almost like an Animal Crossing, where you where you kind of build up an island resort and try and build that ranking up. And the second one is a Pokemon game. In fact, it's probably got more alike to Pokemon than Pal World does.
That's funny. Oh my gosh.
They call it the Sujimon, and it's basically a collection of various bad guys that you've run into. Because in Kasuga's mind, every time he fights, he thinks of himself in an RPG. So like the guys transform into like weird monsters, like or just weird like costumes or other kind of freaks, and that's kind of like what he pictures them as. But these are also considered now Sujimon, and eventually there will be a mini game where you can actually collect Sujimon, train them, evolve them, and then battle them in tournaments.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
This is too funny.
So I haven't gotten there yet, but I definitely see some potential of like Sujimon that I could want to collect later on here. But yeah, it's been great. I did get through the dating app minigame, which was very interesting because, again, Like a Dragon usually has some very saucy minigame, whether it be like dating a hostess or phone apps or like a phone line dating thing. I think was Yakuza 0. This one, it is literally a dating app. And what you do is you have to create a personality profile by using keywords, and then you can choose a subscription, and of course, the higher paying subscriptions give you better results. Just like in real life dating. And then, if once you match, you have a conversation with this person where you have to choose some lines, whether you remember from their profile or your profile, and try and guess what would be like the most like, I guess, attractive thing to them, like what would turn them on. And that's done through a text-based mini game where you have to push the keys, certain key combinations fast enough before the timer runs out. Otherwise, you like fumble on your text. And if you reach certain landmarks in this mini game, there's 3 landmarks. 2 of them are saucy pictures, and then the third is the convincing them to meet up with you. And I've done this 5 times now because that's what you had to do for achievement, even though there's 10 girls. And it's kind of funny. Like every time I did this, I got catfished. It's definitely not the person on their picture. And again, I was just going for the achievements. I'm like, I'm going to just do one more. The 5th person actually turned out to be a real person, like the actual person on the profile. And it's done through a full motion video of like the character, like the actual actress, like kind of doing some cute little things like they do in Japan. Like, look at this cake. Would you like to eat my cake? Kind of showing off some cleavage and stuff like that.
Moving on.
So there's some fun stuff to be had there. But I also had to make time for one more RPG that came out recently, and that is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Any of you guys ever heard this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is, but I know that people are excited for it.
Fighting game.
One of them is a fighting game. The original was a gacha game on the mobile.
Right. Yeah.
And then they came up with this game, which had been in a 7-year development. It was originally supposed to be partnered with Platinum, but then Platinum bowed out. So it kind of went through a bit of a development hell. But the game is finally out, and it's surprisingly not bad. Like, first off, the game is gorgeous. Like, you look out into the world, and it's almost like Xenoblade Chronicles, like, graphic style. Big, giant, like, fields. A lot of, like, little environmental effects going on. Then the boss fights are actually exceptional. One of the very first battles you fight is a giant dragon that's absolutely destroying your airship that you're on. But other than that, the gameplay, I wasn't quite prepared for what the type of gameplay it is. The gameplay is very traditional action-based RPG, where you have cooldown skills that you can perform every now and then combos with some of your other characters in your party. But that's in terms of the main story. Then there are optional side quests, which are very Monster Hunter-like, where you pick up the quest, you choose your team, you outfit them, you go on the quest. It's like exterminate a few waves of enemies or exterminate a boss-like enemy. And apparently that's actually what the meat of the game is. Like, the game story is only supposed to be like 15, 20 hours, but then the rest of it's like end game content where you just go on these quests to hunt down reskins of bosses and, fight for more like points and grindingness. The grind that the Monster Hunter games are kind of famous for. And you definitely feel some presence of the gacha system in it as well. Just with you can draw up these you get these crew cards where you can actually purchase a new character in your team, even though you're not using real money. But I don't know if you know exactly who you're getting. I haven't gotten that far yet in the game to actually purchase one of these. But there's definitely a feel like, this game did have some gacha elements that they incorporated into the main game, even though it's not really a gacha because you're not spending any money on it. It's just more the luck of the draw. But yeah, other than that, like kind of like side tangent of the game, like so far I've been really enjoying the story and just seeing how beautiful this game is. So I look forward to playing that along with Like a Dragon and Persona and all the other RPGs that all come out this year or this month even. So there's a lot of them. I'm gonna be busy.
Nice. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network and our family of podcasts. Speaking of busy, breaking news on this episode that will be 4 days old by the time you hear this. There is a dedicated Final Fantasy VII Rebirth State of Play on February 6th.
Yep.
Yes. So I cannot wait, even though I'm only picking the game up on PC.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be tears. Lots of tears.
Some tears. All the tears.
Every tear.
So, speaking of state of plays, we should probably talk
tears.
about this one that happened today, huh?
Yep.
With 90s Bond villain henchman #1 Herman Holst narrating the production.
You're the only person that thinks that.
No, dude, he looks just like one. It's funny.
It's
the hair in the jacket, man, and his like Swedish jawline.
I was about to say it's because he's not an American. That's why you're doing this. Like, Corey,
McJudgy pants.
Corey,
it's not an insult.
Corey's a racist white person against white people.
Because even the way Corey's text hit us when he was watching the state of play, because I think we all watched it at staggered times because I didn't see it on time myself because I was busy with work. But I saw Corey's text. I'm like, man, like this sounds just like when Uma Thurman said in Kill Bill, like the woman sitting over here that looks like a villain from Star Trek. That's how Corey sounded describing Herman Holst.
Hey man, all white people look alike. What can I say?
Mm-hmm. I look just like Corey in real life.
I know by the time this episode comes out, there will be an article on the website kind of breaking this down, and probably every other website in the world breaking this down, but we want to break it down. So
break it down.
Who wants to start? We got a new Sonic Generations. I'm excited for that.
And just so you know, our writing team is so good that our summary or recap of the state of play just went live.
Heyo.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's bossrush.net for all you who don't know.
Yeah, because we're talking to you from the future by the time you actually hear this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sonic X Shadow Generations, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Usually X stands for cross, so
yeah.
Sonic Cross Shadow.
X.
Okay, so I'm gonna be that guy. It's hard for me to get into these new Sonic games. I know I sound like an old person as like that you know, like it's always like the ones that are always judgmental of like the current music and whatnot. But I don't know, all these 2D games that like made this jump into 3D franchise, it's been a hard conversion for me, you know. And here we are like how many years removed from Sonic
what, Frontiers?
Yeah, no, not Frontiers. What was the Dreamcast one?
Adventure.
Was it Sonic Adventure?
Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are, so many years removed from it, and I'm still not used to like 3D Sonic games. Now, to my credit, like some 3D Sonic games have just performed like ass, like like controls are wonky and stuff like that. So part of that's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So whenever I see a 3D Sonic game, I'm like, oh, big whoop.
I don't know. When I saw Sonic Kiss a Human, I was out. I'm gonna be honest.
Ah!
That
Sonic
was kind
06,
of weird.
everybody.
I kind of want to play that game again.
Just so everybody knows, Sonic Generations, the first one, came out in 2011. So it took us 13 years to get a sequel to the one game everybody unanimously likes across the board. So
whatever they did with Sonic Generations worked. It's strange that you had Sonic Superstar. That's just like, what the hell?
Remember, I mean, I don't know if you played Sonic Boom on the Wii U, but they tried to make Sonic a proper 3D platformer like a Mario game, and it was terrible. It was really bad. I mean, there were some quote unquote fast segments, but it was mostly like a subpar 3D platformer, and it was really bad. Also, it ran at like 12 frames a second sometimes, so which really gives you that sense of speed. Am I right, LeRon?
Yes.
It wouldn't be a Sonic game if you didn't go past the screen.
Gotta go fast. Or a killer whale chasing you at this point.
Yep.
But seriously, in all seriousness, what excited people about this? I know a lot of people are looking forward to Kojima's new IP.
Yes. And this wasn't announced during the State of Play, but he did tweet out afterwards and said their working title, nope, that's my screenshot about Peloton bikes, says the working title is Physint, Physsint. It'll be his third new original IP since the establishment of Kojima Productions. It is a new action espionage for the next generation.
I love how all these old conceptualized ideas that that Konami did not want to do anything with, like he's like, fuck you, like this is happening.
Yep, pretty much.
And I mean, Sony's smart enough to partner with him on most of these, right? I mean, I know Xbox is doing
Xbox has got
Project OD with him, but I mean,
like what is that? Is that gonna be like a live action game?
I don't. Who knows?
We don't know.
Man,
is it gonna be kind of like what they were trying to do in Quantum Break with those episodes?
No, the rumor is that it's going to be the spiritual happening of what his Silent Hill game was supposed to be. Because if you watch the trailer, there are references to PT directly in the trailer.
Yeah.
So
wait, to which one? The overdose?
The OD, Project OD. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people think it's gonna, and we know it's a horror game. So
got Jordan Peele back in it.
Horror.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So apparently, both OD and Physint have both been quote unquote meant to be breaking barriers between movie and video game. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, isn't this new IP getting a movie too? Because he announced Columbia Pictures was making his movie.
Well, I don't know if it's. I think that's kind of the whole mixture of movie and video game. Like Columbia Pictures probably has some sort of. They're probably using like movie technology from Columbia Pictures to help out.
They're making his Death Stranding movie.
I don't know. They didn't say anything about a movie just yet for this.
I don't know. I just saw he was partnering with Columbia Pictures. Who knows? It's Kojima. Yeah. He could be making like a I don't know, pair of scissors or something.
I was about to say don't say anything derogatory.
Don't do that. Me say something like that.
Well, we probably won't see this game for at least a good 10 years. So
it'll be on the PlayStation 7. Hope you guys are prepared for that.
But what won't come out on the PlayStation 7, but on the 5 would be Death Stranding 2 on the beach. With a very extended look at like gameplay, or I don't know, just lots of dialogue. Like I don't know if any of you guys had the time to look at like the 9 minutes worth of stuff.
I watched the whole thing.
I watched it.
It's It's definitely Death Stranding. Very weird, very awkward. It, very Kojima. We'll put it this
Yes.
way.
Yes. Yeah.
Weirdness being things like Fragile's weird hand neck thing that she had. That
Yeah.
That was actually, it was weird but also cool at the same time.
like first it was a mask, but then it was also like lighting a cigarette and also holding a
And like
puppet.
an
It's like
extension of like her body.
Yeah, and
mhm.
that puppet thing. Ooh.
No, I thought the puppet thing was cool, especially when he like hissed and like fanged out.
Yes, that part was funny, but remember my fear of wooden dolls, so
What's hilarious is that it makes it looks like it's done in climation too, or like stop
yeah.
motion. It's like, what is going on here?
I'm gonna when I come to meet up with you guys for PAX, I'm gonna have a ventriloquist puppet with me.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Yeah, so like I don't know, when I saw that I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out by not playing a Kojima game because I always want to experience art and I feel like anything Kojima puts out does fall into that well because it's strange.
Well,
I
shit.
don't
If you play any Metal Gear Solid games, you're gonna have an existential crisis.
and when I say strange, I don't mean it in a negative way. I actually mean strange in a positive way. But anyway, I don't know if I can get through original Death Stranding. I might just have to just watch a let's play of it.
Original Death Stranding was good.
I hear if you like kind of mainline it, it's kind of short. Actually, but like the point is to not mainline it.
No, that the true death in the Death Stranding game is kind of building up the environment so that you can make roads for other people to travel, and that was the whole idea of like connection, and that was a beautiful like afterthought into the game, or just how he incorporated that theme of
I wonder how
connecting.
this game is going to be like 10 years from now. You know how like you go back to old games that maybe were supposed to be like an online centric thing, like you think people will still be playing Death Stranding, and or do you think like you'll just go out there and it's like bare land and like the game will be totally different in 10 years because there's no roads to go on?
That is a good question.
That's a wonderful question. Actually, I have no idea.
I was thinking about that when that game came out, when they were touting like, oh, it's like this passive multiplayer thing where like you build the roads and then somebody will travel on the roads and build new roads for you to travel on. And I'm like, but they like disappear over time because the rain is the bad part of the game. And I'm like, what if nobody's playing the game? How does your experience change? Like that's, I just always wondered about like, with that game. So,
well, one scene that they did show that was pretty weird. They reintroduced Troy Baker's character Higgs. Higgs or Hicks, I forget, who was the villain in the first one, but now he's like rechanged where he kind of looks like the Crow, and he plays a guitar that shoots out electric pulses and becomes an axe. And that was weird, but not as weird as the assumed baby being in an armored samurai outfit, wielding a katana, fighting.
Actually, that was cool as fuck.
I know, but it's like weird as fuck as well, because the baby's like cooing and gagaing while like he's fighting Troy Baker's with a guitar versus a katana. It's like, what? What? This is awesome, but I don't know what.
Pat's brain was on the verge of breaking.
Yeah. Very, very Kojima.
All right. I don't know about you guys. I'm just gonna bring up, this is probably like one of the next big ones. Not necessarily for me, because I'm a weenie. Is the Silent Hill stuff. Silent Hill: The Short Message is a free-to-play game now on the PlayStation 5. It's a completely new title, and like Pat said, I think pre-podcast, it's probably like a feeler, right? Like a small sampling, to give them a sense of what the audience is expecting for their future larger games. And then they showed, I would call it like gameplay footage of the Silent Hill 2 remake with still no date.
Yeah. No, a lot of people were complaining it looked rough. I thought it did, yeah, but it's also an alpha. With no date, this thing could still be coming out in 2025 as far as we know.
Exactly, yeah.
But it was interesting because it took the over-shoulder approach of Resident Evil 2 remake. Like you were following behind what the hell? Why am I forgetting the main character's name? It's Sutherland. What the hell's his first name? I forget.
Yeah. Kiefer Sutherland?
It's not
the 24 guy.
No. Anyways, it's following behind him in the game, so it's going to be a different approach, and it'll be curious to know if that's going to work. Because one of the things that Silent Hill was famous for was you can't see them, but you hear them. Of a
James
villain.
Sunderland.
James Sutherland. Thank you. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know. I thought the shadow drop was neat, even if it is maybe a short game and jury's out. I'm sure we'll get a lot of people talking about it in the next 24 hours. So
yeah, I'll play it before the next podcast.
Yeah, so there you go. But for me, and if I could just speak holistically to the showcase state of play first, because this is now the second major one, right? Xbox had its developer direct, then this one. I will say, as someone who is way more of a PlayStation fan than an Xbox fan, and that's not like a dig, it's just kind of I naturally gravitate towards my PlayStation and my Switch, and then Xbox kind back there. I would technically say between the two, the games that I am excited for, so this is not a dig at either show, are the Xbox games coming out this year. The list of games that the State of Play had not necessarily were for me, though I understand they did showcase a number of games that are coming out this year or next year, which is something Sony needed to do, right? It's just a matter of what you wanted. What I thought was interesting was that Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2 are going to drop the same day.
Yeah.
Are either of you interested in Dragon's Dogma 2 looks really good. I want to play Rise of Ronin, but all I could think of was I like Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima looks better. I already played Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if I could do it. I know it's a different time, but still.
Yeah, it totally looked like a ripoff. It looked like a dollar store version of Ghost of Tsushima. And LeRon, before you go, I just want to make this other point too. Is like, yes, Sony showed us things that they were like releasing within the next 2 years, but none of it is in Sony internal studios. It's all second party stuff. What are they doing? The only game we know from internal studios is Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. They're making quadruple X or quadruple A titles now. Remember, they're all about that big budget.
But what are they doing? They have nothing announced. They literally have nothing announced.
Who's making Stellar Blade?
I have no idea.
No, that's not in-house. That's not in-house. Sony's publishing that. A Korean studio is behind that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that they don't have anything announced. Nothing.
Remember when that was Xbox?
I mean, Xbox has the opposite problem. They have too many games announced and none of them have come out. That's the opposite problem.
Oh yeah, true.
They have like 35 games announced from internal studios.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
What are your thoughts?
Why is my hand raised?
Okay. I know I called Rise of the Ronin for my Metacritic draft and wow, like I was not expecting that game does not look good.
Ooh, can I ask you a question, LeRon? Because you weren't online and I was having a pre-show chat. When I was watching it, I was IMing with one of the writers, Mary, and I said, "Is it my TV or does this look kind of not great?" Like it just seemed to. bit muddy and
yeah, it did. Yeah, it doesn't look great. As a matter of fact, another thing I will say is, and my roommate and I were talking about this. Like we were watching the show, and like with none of these games having like any ray trace effects and stuff like that, they don't look current gen. They look standard. Yeah, like Stellar Blade. Yeah, Stellar Blade looked awesome. The Hoyoverse game that technically hasn't, is still in development, looks great. But then again, like cell shaded art looks amazing no matter what, unless you got shitty artists. But like Sonic Cross Shadow, like was vibrant, and stuff like that. But beyond that, like all the games that were showcased. Maybe Death Stranding being the only outlier. Like they did not look like next gen.
Yeah.
They did not look like they should be in the current generation, which is sad because even though they said a lot of these games are just PS5 games, some of them are going to show up on PC. So people are actually going to wait for the PC games. They're going to get like the RTX, the ray trace effects, and all that stuff, and like of course mods, stuff like that, and like it's just. I know this was a big leap for the console generations, and we all discussed this back when PS5 and Xbox Series was coming out and stuff like that. This was the stepping stone that they needed to start pacing with the PC and stuff like that. But I mean, PS6 and Xbox like Fantastica are going to have to do the heavy lifting, this next console generation, because I don't think the hardware refreshes that are coming are going to do any better, like we'll get more 4K, but I don't think the games are going to look next gen unless this is coming down to the developers. The developers aren't putting the focus on it, they just want to get the games out. Yeah, but Rise of the Ronin definitely disappointed me, and that's when the game is on the Metacritic draft. So I'm expecting like a cool 83 for that game now on my Metacritic draft. I was thinking it was going to be like a 90.
I think it's still going to do good because what that game highly reminded me of was Sekiro. Yeah, like all the parries that was going on.
I would rather play Sekiro because Sekiro is more visually striking than this.
I kind of thought that maybe this looked like a FromSoft game a little bit, because like as much as people love FromSoft games, I think everybody can admit they're not the best looking games. I mean, the best looking one is the Demon Souls remake, and they didn't even do it. So
right.
No, I mean that's what Ninja Theory does is they make FromSoft versions, but they enhance them a little bit. Team Ninja, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Steph, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make a joke to Corey, like, well, see, now you're gonna earn us a low review on Apple Podcasts again by saying.
Oh, because maybe.
JK, but
somebody will say I said Demon Souls sucks or something, and I'll be like, yeah, whatever, sure.
Yeah. Well,
I'm so sorry, Pat. Please go. Go.
I was just going to say I'm going to be cautiously optimistic with Rise of the Ronin just because I know how people are diehard Sekiro.
I mean, I do like the presentation though. The presentation of Rise of the Ronin looks fantastic. It looks like it's very story driven.
Steph?
No, if we're done talking about it, I was going to mention probably the one last one that might have caught my eye because the rest, like I said, just weren't really for me. So,
was Stellar Blade?
V Rising.
Oh,
it's looks like it's a
Diablo clone.
Kinda, yeah, survival horror. You're a vampire and all that stuff. Like that's why I'm like maybe I don't know. We'll see.
But then there's Stellar Blade.
It looks like somebody made a better version of Bayonetta.
Boom. There it is.
Bayonetta, but it's also Near Automata.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Near Automata.
It's like if Bayonetta and Near Automata got in the bed together, you get Stellar Blade.
There's probably something out there similar to that effect if you look hard enough.
It's all about them sexy androids.
Hard being the key word there.
Nier Automata, though, hell of a video game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked how much I liked that game, because I mean, I thought it was like one of those games that it's hipster to say this game's cool, and then I ended up getting it. I ended up getting it on Switch, and played like the first 5 hours on Switch, and then I ended up buying it on Xbox because I'm like, I want the 60 frames.
Hipster.
Oh, it's so good. I love that game.
It is a great game. Like, and even the story is just so deep behind it. Especially when you get to the third act. Holy crap, does that game take a turn?
And when you find out what happens after all the you get all the endings and you get the final ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to the first one and realize how much they tie into each other without actually like referencing each other. Oh, it's so good.
The fact that it even ties into the Drakengard series is like, what the hell? This guy is funny. It's genius.
Like, it's so funny that the Nier series is a sequel to an alternate ending in Drakengard 3, which is part of a totally different series. I think there's like 5 of them.
Yeah. But I'm excited for Stellar Blade. It does look fun. Yep. I'm going to take my weeboo.
There's a lot of junk in that trunk.
There is, and it's like very soft, movable junk too.
Jesus Christ.
It doesn't take an eagle eye to see those things were jumbling like a Dead or Alive game.
Look,
real physics right there, and potential nominee for Waifu of the Year 2024.
Here's the thing. It's not that I care about that or anything. It's the fact that the camera is always angled upwards at it. And it's kind of like the framed thing in the picture, in the frame. And I'm like,
you see this? You see this? You see this?
Of course I see it. It's a quarter of the damn screen.
They know their audience.
Oh yeah, there's that game's going to be defended by internet warriors everywhere.
Boy. Oh boy. Anybody care about Judas? I know if we don't mention that, the BioShock fans will come out of the woodwork. And
I'm interested because like I'm interested in it because like Ken Levine's my boy. Like I mean, like I can't say I've beaten every BioShock game I played, but I can say that I've loved this dude's craft since like since BioShock has been a thing. So yeah, Judas, like it's got that look and feel of BioShock. I'm hoping there's a little bit more to it than just just being a spiritual successor of BioShock, but we'll see.
It's BioShock in space.
Yeah, versus BioShock, underwater, and BioShock in the sky.
Yeah, where else was it going to be? I mean, you had underground and you have space,
land.
So I guess,
dude, that is too ingenious.
An island.
I guess they'll use the in space, no one can hear you scream like slogan.
I'm waiting for a lighthouse reference.
There's always a lighthouse. I tried really hard to play BioShock like 3 separate times. I really tried to play it and I just could not get into it. So
it's unique
here.
Yeah. And then like also like the main point to play it right now like at this point would be like how quote unquote revolutionary the story was at the time, and I'm like I already know the story. So I don't,
Yeah, knowing the twist in that game really changes your really changes your vision of what that game was.
Was that phrase, would you kindly?
Something like that.
Yes, that's the phrase. Would you kindly?
Anything else that interests you guys?
Honestly, not really.
I'm upset that the Metro game's just a VR because I like Metro, but I won't play a VR game.
got to play VR, man.
No,
It's cool.
I am
say.
amped for the Until Dawn remake. But I'm going to be getting the PC version of it.
Yeah. Apparently they're making a movie too.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
it's gonna have the original actors.
I think so. I think they're trying to get. I think Hayden Panettiere is attached.
What's the other guy? The
Rami Malek.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like, good luck getting him. He went from almost no-name actor in that game to an Oscar winner now.
To a Bond villain.
Yeah, Bond villain.
Freddie Mercury.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Brett Dalton's doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They gotta get Peter Stormguard though. It won't work unless they got Peter Stormguard.
I mean, who knows? It might just be called Until Dawn and have the same premise as this movie and have a totally different cast, you know?
Yeah.
It's not cool.
Who knows? What's that movie where like every time the girl dies, she wakes up at like her
Happy Death Day?
Yeah. What if it's like to kind of play off the choice thing? What if it's like that?
Ooh.
And she has to figure out how to save all of her friends and which choices to make. Sounds like a better TV show than a movie, but that could work. I mean, if you do it right, that could work.
Yeah, but we also just go watch Quantum Leap.
Nobody watches Quantum Leap.
What are you talking about? I watch Quantum Leap.
Nerd.
Like shit. The Quantum Leap. I don't know if it's a reboot, remake. I don't know what they're calling it, but damn, like Quantum Leap is good.
I believe you.
So you better believe me. Hey, you know the cool thing about us meeting up at PAX? All those punches in the face I owe you, I can collect.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Actually, can you transfer those to Ed, because I'm supposed to punch Ed in the face? So can we just transfer those punches to Ed?
Just gang up on him.
I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Man. Anyways. What else do we have to talk about here? We have a question in Discord.
What's the question?
What game has the best menu sound effects? It's from Austin Campbell, our friend Austin.
Menu sound effects.
I will go first with Final Fantasy and those iconic little like chips. When you like scroll down.
Like in the PS1, like the PS1 Final Fantasy games, where it's just like that little blip.
Yeah.
And then the chime when you select something.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Iconic. I can still hear them in my mind.
It's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Metal Gear Solid 2 or Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Just a computerized dinging, and then every time you select something, like it's an actual, like you actually, someone actually fires a chamber out the clip.
It's a good one. I'm trying to think of one. I don't know if I know menu sound effects.
Yeah.
I don't.
One I can think of, I don't know if it necessarily might be my favorite, but it's memorable. So I guess if it's memorable enough, must be good. When I was playing Skyward Sword on the Wii, and part of it's just because it comes out of the Wiimote and like the menu options, and then when you finally hit select, you hear like a sword go shing. So I like that.
Nice. I don't know. I mean,
we miss you, Austin.
Yeah. We miss you, Austin. Come on the show, Austin. You're invited.
I don't miss him. He's part of the reason why Crossroads hasn't started back up.
Gosh, Austin.
I'm just kidding.
You jerk. You're uninvited.
I need someone to share SpongeBob quotes with.
In that case, like he's definitely disinvited.
Oh.
Yikes.
Have you seen my underwear? Would you like to?
Jeez.
I remember that one.
I don't know what that means. I don't want to know.
That was from the SpongeBob movie. Where he sees a really attractive like merg girl and he's like, "Did you see my underwear?"
I've never seen anything SpongeBob except for memes.
Well, you're missing out.
So I'm sorry, everybody.
Missing out.
Well,
Well, didn't we have like a second topic?
We did, but I don't have the energy to get into my ideas for that topic. It's a topic that I really want to like discuss, and like I'm gonna be honest, the way I'm feeling right now, I would not do this discussion any kind of service unless you guys want to talk about it. Really, it's the if Xbox, like I titled the topic, "What if Xbox had its cake and ate it too?" Pretty much. The rumors of Xbox going third party to some extent. But it's more about the ideas of what the next console would look like. And it's why I wanted to talk to LeRon about it specifically, because I think it's going to have a lot to do with the way the ROG Ally kind of collects your PC games. And I think that next Xbox is going to be a set-top box PC with an Xbox app. It's going to have a custom version, like Windows 12 or whatever the next version of Windows is going to be able to be super customizable. And the next Xbox is going to be that, where you're going to be able to play your Steam games, your Epic games, your whatever. And I think the Xbox app is where the Xbox is going to live, right? If you want a traditional Xbox experience, you're going to use the Xbox app. Right. And LeRon, tell us about the Armory Crate. I know you use other things besides the Armory Crate, but tell us, I mean, just for people who don't know what the ROG Ally does with the Armory Crate.
Okay, so basically the Armory Crate, give me a second as I fire up my ROG Ally. All right, so the Armory Crate is basically like just think of it as like where Steam Decks like load into the the actual like Steam like engine, the Steam UI. Think of it like that, like the Armory Crate. The Armory Crate, you can set it to be the first thing that pops up in there, and basically it is an actualized menu system that will basically it will do everything from showcase all the games. Like here, I've got it loaded up right now. It'll showcase all the games that you have currently playing, and it'll even keep like say like the last game I played, for example. The last game I played, for example, is Monster Hunter World. So like it's up first on deck as the first game, and then chronologically it goes backwards from everything you're playing. So it's basically a UI system, but also with that, like you can go into like the settings menu. And in settings, like you have everything from configuration controls to like the command center and all that stuff. You can basically like tell the system's processes and how it governs itself when you're running it. And then you've got the content tab, where the content tab, basically you have everything from your update center, that's part of where it will manage your updates, even though technically out the box, there's an app that's already pre-installed in there called the My Asus app, and it actually does, in my opinion, maybe it's because like I'm just an IT guy. In my opinion, I feel like it does a better job than the actual like Armory Crate does with getting updates and stuff like that. But also because I'm an IT guy and I work with computers and stuff like that, I also cheat when it comes to getting like the latest updates and stuff like that, because sometimes like graphic cards updates, for example, because it is sporting an 8-core 16-thread processor, the Z1 Extreme, and sometimes like AMD has a graphics update ready, but Asus hasn't quite streamlined it yet for the ROG Ally, and sometimes I cheat and I just go ahead and I get the AMD update, which can break your game sometimes. Be careful. So always trust the Armory Crate first. That's what I will say. Unless you know something about computers and you know how to tweak a few things and stuff like that, and do it like that. Like I was in a hurry to get one update that basically put it in a 900p 900p resolution, but because it wasn't the official one that was launched in the Armory Crate, like I broke my Spider-Man remastered game. And then I had to do some tweaks and configurations inside the Steam library to fix that.
Look what you did.
Yeah. I mean, I like tinkering with these things, though. It's honestly why I got this, and it's honestly why like real soon my Nintendo Switch is gonna be jailbroken, and I guarantee you I'm gonna do a whole bunch of goofy stuff if I get my hands on the Steam Deck. Yeah. But the Army Crate, but the also thing, the Army Crate also does all the integration for like all your various different platforms, stuff like that. So Xbox, so basically the Xbox app for people who have Game Pass and stuff like that. Xbox Cloud Gaming, the EA app that's already built in. Steam already built in. Ubisoft Connect, GOG Galaxy, and then you can put other launchers on there like the Epic Games launcher and stuff like that. And basically, one of the cool things is Armory Crate also kind of does it the same way that that Steam does it. You can add these games to any of those libraries, and then it will know the launch. For example, if you gotta play your Assassin's Creed game, you have to like log into the to Uplay to do that. When you launch the game direct, whether you're launching it direct from the Armory Crate or if you're launching it direct from the operating system for Windows, it'll automatically know like go ahead, start up your Origin, your Uplay, whatever it is you're doing, and it will make sure that the game starts and plays the way it's supposed to. I accidentally hit something here. Oh, I accidentally hit the Xbox app, so now like it's loading up my Game Pass stuff along with my EA Play because I have Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah. So yeah, Armory Crate, like it's for people. For people who just want this thing to run like an actual video game system, Armory Crate's like your first step. Now normally, for the most part, because I'm lazy, I just use Steam. For the most part. Yeah, because like all the integration's already there and stuff like that. It's a Windows device, and Steam works very well on Windows. Like everybody that plays PC games knows that, stuff like that. And also like if you play in big picture mode for Steam, like it's a nice clean experience. Stuff like that. Now there is an outside launcher that I've tinkered around with and played with. It's called the Play Night, and basically these things can be daunting because like this is a Windows system, so but people sometimes can't correlate that this is a PC even though it's a handheld device and stuff like that. People actually want like people see these things and they think more of like the Nintendo Switch, where like when you turn it on, like the UI is already loaded and is ready to go for you just to play games or do whatever. Oh shit! I almost dropped my Switch.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what intimidates me about the ROG Ally. As much as I think it looks wicked awesome, I'm intimidated.
Oh no! Honestly, you can set it to where like I said, like you can have Armory Crate be the first thing that loads up, so it makes it feel like a more gaming machine experience, or you can have Steam Big Picture mode. I would say either bounce back and forth, either do Armory Crate or do Steam Big Picture mode, and you basically get that UI without getting all that behind the scenes stuff. But Play Night is actually out there, and it actually makes a really streamlined, like a really streamlined look and stuff like that as well. And it actually gives you that more of that handheld gaming experience, because like this stuff can be daunting, but at the same time, it's not hard.
Yeah. I think the scariest part is probably just setting it up for most people. And then, once it's set up and you're used to it, it's
yeah. Yeah, and plus, like you can do cool things. Like you can actually link up an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller through via Bluetooth, because it has built-in Bluetooth capabilities, and you have an external controller, or you can use any of Asus's overpriced accessories like the ROG controller or their earbuds, which I did buy a pair of these earbuds. Stuff like that, nice. And there's also other experience, because like some people are hardcore, and there is a GPU enclosure that you hook up externally, so you can play this direct to a monitor or a TV screen. Only buy that if you have the money for that, though, because it is like $1,300, so it's practically double the price of the ROG Ally. So you honestly, if you buy the ROG Ally and that enclosure together, you just bought yourself a new computer, and you could have built yourself a desktop that does the same amount of work and probably save some money in the process.
But you can take that with you, LeRon.
That's true. That's true. As a matter of fact, I take this thing whenever I go out of town. Like the ROG Ally comes with me. As a matter of fact, it's gotten to the point because I have emulators on there that certain other consoles stay at home now.
Yeah. Well, this time next year, maybe that console will just be packed away in a box with the rest of the old ones. So,
yeah,
hopefully.
right. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see. But
yeah,
I just I do want to dive deeper into that topic at some point. I think the next Xbox is going to be kind of a Windows-based machine that you launch an Xbox app out of. It's going to be pretty much be an Xbox branded PC, is what I'm thinking. And it comes with a controller, and it comes with a really simple setup process. But you'll also be able to put launchers on it like Epic and Steam and those types of things.
It's a good possibility, honestly, because I don't know, like it seems like Microsoft wants to go in hard on the mobile market, but the problem is that it's starting to, just like with all the handheld retro machines and all stuff, it's starting to get saturated. Like we got the MSI Claw coming real soon. Lenovo Legion Go just launched a couple of months ago, and so there's an option. The Asus ROG Allies out there.
Did you see that article, by the way, about the ROG Ally 2?
Yeah, I did see that, and I'm not sure if that's just an executive over across the pond, just talking big aspirations and stuff like that. I'll be honest with you. It's not so much the hardware itself. It's not so much like the actual the machine, the ROG Ally, for example, or the Lenovo Legion Go, because quite a few of these devices have the same exact chip. What they need to do is wait for AMD, if they're going to continue with AMD, because NVIDIA doesn't want to get in this space. Because honestly, NVIDIA is just all in on AI, so give AMD, if AMD wants to play games, literally play games, in the video game space and stuff like that, nice. More power to them and stuff like that. The Z1 Extreme chip is a nice chip. It is. I think ultimately where a lot of these companies need to figure things out is not so much the performance, because most of us are getting the performance that we want out of these. Yeah, there are still going to be some heavy duty games out there that you're going to need an RTX 4090 graphics card to play and get the best experience and stuff like that. The two things that this thing needs, it needs more RAM. It needs more RAM, and it needs a better compromise on the battery life. But you know what? The most practical gamer right now knows, particularly if your head's in the PC space, is that if you're going to play this thing on the high settings and stuff like that, you're going to have to want it plugged in, or you're going to have to bring a battery pack with you. That's just the rule. I take this out the house with me and stuff like that, but 9 times out of 10, I'm usually looking for a place to plug it in at, or I have a battery pack that I bring with me, stuff like that, just for when I'm on car rides or on planes or whatnot. And you know what? I've learned to manage how I use this thing, so it's one of those things where it's look at that. This thing needs a charge. I guess now's a good time for me to go ahead and take a nap on this plane ride, or now's a good time for me to go ahead and take my break from screen time, which everybody's supposed to do anyway, especially looking at these things with all that blue light,
Yeah.
But Microsoft's trying to claim this whole arena. It's interesting because in my honest opinion, I feel like they've got some work to do in-house themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing that would kind of axe my thought process on the next Xbox being an open platform would be all the third-party revenue they make, right? Because if you open it up to Steam, then they're not making that revenue because people are just playing their PC games on Steam, and they're just,
it's a good thing. It's good that you say that, right? Because Microsoft's year-end sales figures just came out, and their gaming platform actually has outsold compared to Windows. I have a theory for why it's outsold compared to Windows. Windows is easy to pirate, and Microsoft makes it easy for Windows to pirate because now you can basically run a computer with the Windows system that says, we've all seen the watermark, please activate Windows. We've seen that, but guess what? The operating system runs fine, and stuff like that, because Microsoft shifted their strategy from, instead of selling the software, they want to sell the marketplace. So that's why the Microsoft store is there and stuff like that. So they're making their money that way through Windows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we saw on that kind of leaked thing that came out earlier this year from the FTC filing that Microsoft might actually have a handheld in development, as well as the all digital Series X, which with a 2 terabyte hard drive. So
it'd be interesting to see, because like I think one of the biggest complaints, and this is a complaint that I hear from other people, like I work in IT, and like 85-90% of my work is in the Windows environment. Like 10% of it is in Mac OS and iOS and stuff like that. I hear a lot of people say like Windows just is not the right thing for this, and I'm like, and there's a part of me that always wants to call bullshit on that, because like if you use a computer every damn day and you have a computer that's optimized for gaming, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to this stuff, honestly, because like all you have to do is just you have to learn the limits and the boundaries of the hardware and stuff like that. I don't, I'm not, it can be a little challenging to some people, but once you know the limits of what you can do, like, I think I told you months ago, like I found like the sweet spot that not only saves me battery life, but also gives me like noticeable, like nice performance that I can deal with, setting the frames at 40 frames, not playing at 60, not playing at 120, not playing at 30, because I can't stand playing games at 30 frames. Like I'd rather not play the game if it's locked at 30, if I'm being honest. 40 frames per second though gives you that nice cinematic experience. Doesn't take a dip in the graphic performance and stuff like that, and it saves you some battery life. There you go. I just gave everybody a pro tip out there.
Pro tip from LeRon Dawkins.
Yeah, but also like if Microsoft, I feel like Microsoft is going to try to double dip here, because Microsoft, is trying to cash in on these Windows handhelds. And if they're actually making their own handheld, I guarantee you that there is not going to have it's going to have either a modified Windows operating system, or it's going to have a completely unique UI and UX experience, that everybody can jump into,
the smart thing to do would be essentially pack a Series S into a handheld. Would be the smart decision.
Yeah, true.
Like, the smart thing to do would be to put the Xbox UI on a handheld for a general audience, right? Like,
yeah.
And the hardcore people that want the like true experience or a better experience or a high performance experience get the ROG Ally.
Go buy the ROG Ally or the Lenovo Legion Go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the MSI Claw. I'm really curious about that. And they kind of leaked the price point. Well, they leaked the price point that it was going to be starting at $700, just like the ROG Ally. Mm-hmm. But apparently there's going to be a couple more expensive models.
Yeah, I've been hearing that there's going to be a $1,200 model.
Yeah.
That runs at supposedly like 1440p 60.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
With some games.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm not a cheap ass when it comes to stuff like this. At that price, just buy yourself a gaming laptop. I'll be honest with you. And there are damn good gaming laptops out there start at $1,200.
Yeah, but people like controllers though. That's the thing. And and you can take this on a plane or a bus or whatever, and like you're not going to whip out this big gaming laptop for a 2-hour plane ride, right? You're going to play something that looks similar to the Nintendo Switch, and that's the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. So I am shocked that Sony or Microsoft have not put out a handheld that will at least run with the success of the Switch. I cannot believe they haven't made some sort of, like PlayStation. If they made like I don't know, somewhere in I don't know what the power.
You mean like the PlayStation Portal, but you could take it outside the house?
Yeah, like. And I know that would be like really expensive, and R&D would be really expensive on that. And maybe they just think like they just want to be on the TV or whatever. But like, especially with Microsoft's mobile initiative, like I can't believe they don't have a handheld yet, like an Xbox handheld. They put out a Series S that's like way less powerful than the Series X, but they can't make a handheld, like a $500 handheld that has an Xbox in it. Come on.
It's because they don't want to do. It's because they don't want to do their R&D for it.
They're the most valuable company in the world. They could just shove $1 billion over there, make me a handheld, and we'll be good to go.
I've always found it fascinating with these companies with their wait and see attitude. You know,
I know.
Because
they wait and see, and then it just fizzles out.
Sony was in the handheld space for a while, and it was pretty nice. You know, like we had just like how the Game Boy Advance, was basically a like a pocket version of Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo DS came out, and it was I don't even know what the next. It probably would have been like a pocket version of the Nintendo 64. You know, we had the PSP, and it was like a PS 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Or the PS Vita was almost a PS3, almost. You know, there was definitely some things that was comparable to the PS3, but the major thing like that made the PS Vita so good was remote play. You know.
Mm-hmm. The thing that killed the Vita was the proprietary memory cards.
Yeah.
That cost, like, the ones worth getting cost almost as much as the damn console.
Yeah, because like there was, I really want one of those 64 gig memory cards, but there was no way I was going to spend like $300 for it. Yeah, I mean, remember nobody knew the price of the memory cards until the console came out. Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
And then like it started leaking early because Walmart started putting them out for sale.
Yeah.
Or something. Man, that's what killed the Vita. It wasn't that people didn't like the Vita. The Vita was cool. I loved my Vita until it died.
Right.
And I just didn't want to get another one because at that point, there's other things to play. But
yeah, it's wild because like I just jailbroke my Vita and started doing all sorts of cool stuff with it, and then 2 months later, like here comes the Steam Deck. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn,
yeah,
like the whole reason why I wanted to do that just got usurped by like the thing that I was looking for the most to come out, and that was handheld PCs.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the ROG Ally saved me from spending over $2,000 for a gaming laptop. It really did.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to call it there. That was a good discussion.
Yeah.
That was a good discussion.
Thanks for letting me be a tech nerd.
Yeah. I would like to have more conversations like that at some point, but it's maybe when the new refresh consoles come out.
Pat and Stephanie's like, well, we'll just see ourselves out.
I know. They're like, what week is that? I'm busy.
Yep.
Man. Anyways, I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush podcast. Check out the Bossies, the 2023 Bossies video out on YouTube and bossrush.net. You can follow along in the article if you want to. Stephanie worked on a great article that has all the segments and breakouts and everything, so you can check that out there. Follow us on social media at Boss Rush Network. Subscribe to YouTube, podcast, rate, review, all that stuff. LeRon, Stephanie, Pat, thank you for your time tonight, as always.
It was a pleasure.
Yep. And thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Todd Hockstrom. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network and our family of podcasts.